Subcabinet Meeting. I'm calling the meeting to order. Aaron, could you confirm that we are now live streaming?
We are live streaming and recording.
Great, thank you. Ms. Johnson, confirm that we have a quorum. I know we've heard from Kim, but is Ms. Johnson here? I can't see her, but I assume she's here.
Yes, I'm sorry. I am here. Good morning, everyone. Yes, we do have a quorum.
Great, thank you. Thank you very much. The last meeting of the subcabinet was in August, and the August meeting was recorded. That recording is available on the Maryland Center for School Safety website. As such, there are no meeting minutes to be approved. But we do have the agenda. So I think looking at the agenda, is there a motion to approve the agenda for the meeting?
This is
So
Laura.
moved.
I move to approve the agenda.
I think that was Laura approving, and a second. Carl?
Second.
A second with Carl. Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? I assume that we are good to go, unless I hear otherwise. Thank you. So we'll go to the annual report, and for that, Kim, it's all yours.
Thank you. Thank you. So the annual report for 2025 was sent in advance from Kate for you to review, but it is also in the chat box. So if you want, you can also download the digital version from the hyperlink in the chat box. So we are just going to kind of go through this, and just a reminder that you as the subcabinet do take a vote at the end to approve the 2025 report. Next page. So we have a lovely letter from our subcabinet chair, Dr. Wright, this year. We appreciate her taking time to do that. Next page. In the introduction section, so just one of the kind of maybe important notes, you will note that this year's is much more abbreviated than in the past year. This is the second year that we've used the Flipping Book software program, and we get analytics from that. So as we started developing the 2025, we actually did look at the analytics from the 2024 version, and could definitely see fatigue. The longer the document, you could actually see viewership drop off consistently as we went through. So we really, one of our primary efforts this year was to be very concise. So there's pretty much a page for each program rather than multiple pages. So the other thing that you'll note in the news, so the layout of this page is what follows on the proceeding. So the title, the reference, so where either in the Safe to Learn Act code or regulation the reference to the program may fit, or what the program achieves or does within the Safe to Learn Act, as well as then the hot link for where folks can go to find more information on that program. The icons, the 4 icons for the layered approach, we also wanted to continue to reinforce the importance of the layered approach. So you'll see those icons represented at the top of the program page. So which one of the layers the program really looks to address. And then at the bottom of each page for programs, you'll see the partnership logo. So instead of having a separate page for all the different agencies that MCSS partners with, we actually embed it on the program page where that pops up. So just a little highlight of what you'll see for the programs. Next page, Aaron. So key accomplishments, we've stayed consistent the last few years with this, starting with the major accomplishments for the 2025 school year. So the Safe Schools Maryland tip line, our behavior threat assessment work, the conference, the summer conference, the SRO SSE Training Academy, some expansion of programs that you'll see that are new for this year that are featured in the APR, and the coordinated emergency preparedness items. So this is really just kind of a big sort of overview of what is also within the report. Next page, Erin. And then we also feature our 26 priorities. So these items that MCSS will be focusing on as we move through 2026. So school-based violence prevention as a priority. And then you see these icons that we represented from the layers. So the personal connections and the culture and climate icon for that school-based prevention. The anonymous reporting system, we'll talk a little bit through that, but we have submitted a departmental bill that we have one of our advisory board members, Delegate Ebersol, will be the primary bill sponsor for that, for us to codify the tip line. The coordinated emergency response and preparedness continuing as we move forward. So you see security in the emergency preparedness icons there, and digital safety. So a number of different priority areas in the space of digital safety. So again, security and emergency preparedness icons. Next slide, Erin. So table of contents. So again, you see this is much more condensed than in last year's. Next slide, Erin. And all the programs and resources have really been put into one very large section of the report. Next slide. So I'm not gonna, I'll just kind of go through relatively quickly on each of these, but so in all of the program pages, we've embedded the data for the year. So sometimes you'll see a graph, Safe Schools Maryland. Here we have a visual representation of the data for the last school year, as well as numbers sort of calling out. So like 1,282 reports. So all of the information related to the tip line is embedded. The red phase line, so above the phase line is just a very brief description of what the program is. The 2 quarters in the middle, the half in the middle, are the current data for the 2025 school year. And then the bottom below the red line is looking to the future. So as we go into 2026, what additional efforts related to the tip line will occur. And then you see those logos at the bottom, these connections that the tip line has. Next slide, Erin. Behavior threat assessment, again, same kind of dynamic, intro to what it is, the efforts for 2025. One of sort of the new initiatives that we did this past year was to actually host quarterly meetings with our behavior threat assessment leads across the state. We've continued that going into this school year as well. And those have been really productive activities for us. Next slide. The conference. So again, we have some analytics related to the number of a conference attendees, the number of sessions that occurred. We highlight the SRO of the year, Corporal Harrison from Howard County, and that we would continue to advance the SRO of the year program going forward. The art showcase, and just a very small thumbnail but of the winners from this past year and the theme. And then as we look to 2026, the dates of the summer conference coming up in 2026, and we are back at Turf Valley, and the theme will be the layered approach to school safety. Next slide. So security personnel. So you'll also notice on this page, we have a bunch of stuff kind of condensed here with a number of hot links. So on this page, you'll see reference to the new training program that was basically an in-service program for individuals had previously participated in the SRO Training Academy, to be able to have some continuing education opportunities for those individuals. And over 1,000 folks have participated and completed that. So 1,253 participants in that program. in addition then to the 239 brand new folks who did the training academy. But then also on this page is where you see the adequate coverage report link and the information related to the incidents of force report also. So those have all been put onto this one page. Next slide. Grant administration has, so again, sort of condensed where we do a totality of the total number of dollars administered by Gifty's office and MCSS, and the distribution of the 4 grants in 2025. And then again, below that red line, we highlight the 5 grant programs that will be administered in 2026. Next slide. For emergency planning, this is a big data page. So this is the information reported by our local public schools related to this past school year for emergency plans, as well as the number of emergency responses that occurred during the 24-25 school year. And then our graphic, really, we feature the standard response protocols that we continue to advance across the state. And then below the red line that we really speak to continuing to advance that. And our goal, our priority for this coming school year is to try to get all 24 LEAs on board with utilizing the I Love You Guys protocols. Next slide. This is the lessons learned slide. So based on the critical life-threatening incidents from the past school year, so there were 25 in total, what were the items, so that's sort of the key takeaways from those different CLTs, critical life-threatening incidents. And then you'll notice here that the priority areas, so really using data to make some informed decisions around what MCSS should be prioritizing. So you'll see those priority areas that we talked about in the beginning for 2026 reappear here on the lessons learned page. Next slide. The active assailant lockdown drill work was very comprehensive this past year. So here we have references to the collaboration with the University of Maryland, the survey that's being distributed to parents, students, and school staff, as well as the updated guidelines. So a lot of information packed in here. 2026 will be year 2 of the study. We had 6 LEAs represented in 2025. So again, the goal as we advance through this current school year is to have every single one of our public LEAs represented inside of that survey. So we're getting information from the cross-section of people across the state. Next slide. The coordinated statewide preparedness effort continues. So this is where we speak somewhat about the statewide exercises that are hosted in the spring and the fall, as well as the Are We Ready exercises continue to be available to anyone to use nationally, not just within the state of Maryland. And that continues to be one of the pages where we see one of our biggest hits on the website. So the 2,795 visitors to that page, and that it's being accessed over 3,000 times. So we know that folks are going to that page to download those exercises to use with their school staff. Next slide, next page. Our student voice page. I actually just realized on Friday in a meeting with Prince George's County student government folks that Omari Barnes, who was one of our prodigies, I will say, for a couple of years, is the student member of the board, which I had not realized for the state board. So proud of Omari and happy to have helped him along the way, although he doesn't need a lot of help. Nor does Zaria and nor does Gavin. So we appreciate our students who have been really active, not just at MCSS, but obviously taking that work related to the importance of school safety across a whole bunch of different organizations and groups. So for us to continue to elevate student voice in as many ways as we can, and the importance of them having an impact on safety in their schools. Next slide. The comprehensive approach. So as we spoke, this is sort of being layered throughout the APR. The focus of the conference will be related to the comprehensive approach. We plan to create a legislative priority document this year that really highlights again the importance of this layered approach. So this page helps to define again what that comprehensive layered approach to school safety looks like. Next page. The Handle with Care initiative, you see a nice graphic. So actually this graphic is pulled from the web page. So if you go to the Handle with Care page, you will actually see real-time data that gets uploaded there. So for the 24-25 school year, just represented visually. This was a new program in terms of who MCSS and MSD sort of managing it. Had been previously with GoCap, and they shifted it over to us. So it's a shared venture between Mary's office and our office, and that has worked well for individuals continuing to advance the Handle with Care program. Next slide. Transportation safety, something that MCSS has been doing. We hadn't necessarily featured it in the annual report in the past, but this past year in 2025, we had some really nicely done visual documents that Ja can take some credit for. It also created an opportunity for us to work directly with MSD. Gabriel Rose had identified the need related to parents who were boarding buses apparently last year. And we wanted to make sure that they knew that that was against the law and they cannot do that. So created a one-page infographic with his having him help us with some content for that to be able to design a dual purpose type of item. So wanted to kind of feature those new items that were pushed out this past year. Next slide. And then actually the last one in our programs and resources is again new. So the integrated preparedness plan was actually something that occurred 3 years ago. But this past year, we made updates to it and approached it in a little bit of a different way. All of you actually were part of helping to make this occur. So we, MCSS facilitated individual meetings with all of these different agencies to really talk about what priority areas their agency already had that could correlate with school safety, ways that we can integrate school safety across the various state agencies. So this page really just kind of speaks to that effort, a little bit of how we went about doing this new workshop this past year. And then these 5 areas were actually identified by the group as integration opportunities or priorities for all of the agencies to really look to advance in that school safety space. Next slide, Erin. And then, so we move to just the engagement section. Next slide. Where we speak to all the different community representations that MCSS is on. Next slide. And other communication and engagement opportunities. So these are often conferences that either MCSS has presented at or has had a exhibit booth to, again, elevate the work of school safety and the agency. Next slide. Some analytics related to the community engagement. So just these are the sort of social media platforms as well as sort of digital. So we included GovDelivery this year because honestly, GovDelivery is probably where we get the most direct communication. So we have 2,900 subscribers who receive our newsletter monthly, as well as other pieces of information. So that is really our primary form of communicating. And then below that is a sort of visual representation of our webpage. So we had 34,000 unique visitors. So individual people coming to the MCSS website. They spend about 54 seconds on average, so almost a minute on the site, which is a pretty good number. They're spending some time there. They're not hitting it and leaving. So relatively happy with that. And the 247,000 roughly visits to the page. So the number of different times that people that have come to the page. And then the table just gives some analytics related to which pages. So these are sort of the top pages that folks are coming there to get information about. So some analytics on that. And then the bottom analytic is how people find us. So we actually see that people go directly to the page. So they are specifically directly searching for the Maryland Center for School Safety. And then the next one is a Google search. So somebody putting in the Google search box. And then we had an interesting one actually from LEA web pages. So different public school systems that are actually embedding the MCSS link that folks come by way of that also. So just some interesting items that help to inform us as we go forward also. Next page, Aaron. And then so we have, yep, we have a nice graphic there just related to the tip line. The next page, the last section is really administration. So the first piece of that is all of you, our subcabinet members. Next one is a listing of all of our advisory board members. And then the last element here is we actually use the organization chart. And what will occur here is when you hover over one of the individuals, and if you wanted to click on Kate, then it will pop up and you could actually look at Kate's bio. Last year we had like multiple pages of everybody's bio, but just kind of using tech and doing it in a different way this year. And last page is just the team and a reminder of the 2026 conference. And on that note, Ms. Gable, we're open for any questions. Oh, Mary, you're mute.
Yeah, thanks.
There.
I have a couple of comments. Thank you. I neglected, I know that Kate is here and but cannot stay, and I had down to refer to Kate at the very beginning and I did not. Kate, are you still able to be there?
I am. I'm here.
Okay, so I just wanted to, Kate is presenting in Kentucky on the program, and so I just wanted to, Kate, did you want to say anything at the very beginning?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're finishing up 2025, which seemed to go incredibly fast this year. It was here before we knew it. But, as I say every year, the work that we do, the amount of work that gets done by our really small team is just amazing. So I am incredibly honored to be a part of such a group of individuals who are so incredibly dedicated to the work that they do. And I'm really excited to see what comes forward in 2026. So I know you have a long meeting, so that's all I want to say. I just want to recognize the team.
Thanks, Kate. We appreciate your leadership, and the fact that you are sharing the work of the Maryland Center is incredible. I have a few comments to make, but before then, does anyone have any questions for Kim? Thank you, Kim. It was really appreciated the robust review of this report, which is quite incredible of all the things that you've done. So any questions for Kim?
Laura and Secretary Beatty, I see your comment. We'll make that update. Thank you for pulling that out. Yep.
Anyone else with a comment or an update? I just want to say that for Maryland to have the Maryland Center for School Safety here has to be a true highlight across the country. And kudos to Kate and Kim and every member of the team, just to take a little time and review what you reviewed, Kim, and all the work that you do. We in this division are proud to be your partners at times. We rely upon you and always are saying, did you check with Kate? Did you check with MCSS? They need to be involved also, and we appreciate you doing the same for us. But kudos to all of you. What a remarkable program. So thank you. At this time, is there a motion to approve the 2025 annual report?
Motion to approve.
Ms. Davis, and a second, please.
Second.
Is that Carol?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
No, just want to make sure that the motion is clear that it is to approve the annual report with the amendment.
Oh, thank you, Janine.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Motion.
Yeah, motion to approve with the amendment.
Great.
And
Thank you. Any other discussion? All right, all in favor of approving the 2025 annual report with amendments? Any opposed? Any abstentions? I don't think so. Motion passes. Thank you very much, Kim, for going through it and for this report and for all of those who contributed to it. And Kate, thank you for your leadership on this. Next item on the agenda is the Safe Schools Fund Grant for FY26 applications. We talked about this a little bit. Ms. Gorski is going to go through them kind of generally, quickly. We will do one vote at the end, but if anyone has any questions about any one of the grants individually, we'll pull that one out. We'll do the vote for the ones that you approve, and we'll discuss any one that you have questions about. So with that, I don't see her. There she is. Dee, it's all yours. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Good morning. And Ms. Laura, I see your hand raised.
I didn't know if you were going to go through them. I did have a couple of questions, but if you're going to go through each one, I'm happy to wait. I just wanted to make sure I didn't wait till we got to the point where we're making a motion to approve them.
Okay, sure. So thank you. Good morning, everyone. Yes, so for fiscal year 26, I just want to recap in terms of, what the appropriation is and what the allocation per jurisdiction is. And so for FY26, the appropriation for the Safe Schools Fund Grant is $600,000, and each jurisdiction is allocated up to $25,000. We know that, quite a few of them asked for the full amount and some asked for a little bit less than. In the August 11th meeting, I believe, there were 3 that were approved for Baltimore City, Carroll County, and Queen Anne's County. So today we have 19 of them, and I will just go over, for the record, each jurisdiction and the amount of their request and a general overview of what their request entails. So with that, I will go over each of them. And I guess when we get to a specific jurisdiction, if you have a question, we can discuss that. And then once it's all done, the subcabinet can take a vote on the applications. All right, so I will start with Allegheny County. Allegheny County is requesting to use all of its $25,000 allocation to fund their school safety officers that assist with school-based incidents inside and outside of its buildings. They also provide support for other school-based events such as sporting events and home visits for absenteeism, truancy. And the average overtime hourly rate is $43.86. So again, Allegheny County Public Schools is requesting to use all of its $25,000 allocation to pay overtime wages for their school safety officers. Any questions on that? Okay, so moving forward, Anne Arundel County is requesting to use their FY26 Safe Schools Fund grant allocation to replace non-functional and out-of-warranty exterior security cameras throughout the school district. The school system's goal is to provide all schools with updated security equipment to provide a safe and secure learning environment. The breakdown of the number of cameras and the maintenance is provided for the subcabinet for a total request of $24,861. Any questions on that?
I do want to say you have all of those in your agenda and you can follow through and take a look at them as Gifty goes through them, if that would be helpful. Next one. Thank you, Gifty.
Sure. The next request is from Baltimore County Public Schools. They're requesting $24,970 for 4 different projects. First one is for training. It is the standard reunification method, a 4-hour in-person train the trainer session offered by I Love You Guys. They're also requesting the Title IX training for 4 employees. They are requesting to use part of the allocation for emergency notification system, the Omni Alert software licenses, which also ties in with all of the Omni Alert weapon detection systems that they currently have. They're also looking to purchase a visitor management system. And finally, they're looking to use part of their funding for school zone traffic enforcement at Easton Tech High School. Any questions on that? Okay. The next request is from Calvert County Public Schools. They are requesting $25,000. The first request is to provide added coverage at the athletic stadium and field. So specifically, the request is to purchase and install cameras at various Calvert County Public Schools. And the first one, again, is Calvert High School Stadium. The second request is at their Sunderland Elementary School. And they will also like to purchase additional surveillance camera equipment to add new cameras at other campuses yet to be identified. The total request, again, is $25,000. Any questions on that one? Okay, next request is from Caroline County Public Schools. They're requesting to use their funding allocation to enhance the transportation department's radio communication system by integrating school administrators directly into the existing radio communication network at the department. They are requesting to purchase 3 Motorola base station radios plus all of the accessories. And the total request is $23,252. Any questions on that? The next request is from Cecil County Public Schools. They're requesting to use all of their $25,000 allocation to purchase digital portable radios and a digital repeater for the Cherry Hill Middle School for effective emergency communications and to enhance the 2-way radio reception both inside and outside of the school building. Any questions on Cecil County's application? The next request is from Charles County. This is a request that we funded in prior years. They would like to use their fiscal year 26 funding again to subscribe to their BARC monitoring software, which help actively monitor Charles County Public Schools digital learning management platform, as well as its Office 365 platforms for threats, risk, suicidal ideation, and inappropriate materials. Again, they're requesting to use their $25,000 allocation for the BARC monitoring software. Any questions on this? Okay, moving on. The next request is from Dorchester County. They're requesting to use their allocation to implement the Raptor emergency management platform at all their county schools. This Raptor visitor management and volunteer management is already in place. The Raptor emergency management platform will add to the integrated and holistic concept in school safety. The platform will allow for drill management, reunification, and student and staff accountability during emergencies. Any questions on the Dorchester County application? All right, the next request is from Frederick County. They are requesting to purchase and install video intercoms with camera capabilities at 11 schools that currently have outdated devices at the main exterior building entrances. And I am intentionally omitting the brand name in my overview. The devices effectively harden the school entry points to ensure all visitors are properly identified and authorized for entry. The application does include a list of all 11 schools where the equipment will be installed. Any questions on this one? Okay. The next request is from Garrett County. They are requesting to use their FY26 Safe Schools Fund Grant allocation to cover the cost of overtime wages for Garrett County Sheriff's Office deputies to provide school zone traffic and safety enforcement during peak hours for pedestrian and school bus safety while schools are in session. Again, they're requesting all of their $25,000 allocation. Any questions on the Garrett County application? All right. The next request is from Hafford County Public Schools. They're requesting to use their allocation to purchase safety radios and batteries for frontline staff to improve the timeliness and effectiveness of response time to potential threats and to ensure smooth reunification efforts during crisis. They're requesting $24,994. Any questions on Hartford County's application? Okay. The next request is from Howard County Public School System. They are requesting the full $25,000, and they will use that on 4 different projects. The first one is the curriculum enhancement and materials. Funds will be used to pay educators hourly wages to review, enhance, and enrich the new quarterly school safety curricula during summer 2026. The second project also involves staff training. Funds will cover the registration fees for up to 12 school administrators and support staff to participate in the Comprehensive School Threat Assessment Guidelines Training, Level 1 and Level 2. For project number 3, funds will be used to hire a third-party vendor to develop and manage a website clearinghouse for the school system's mental health resources for students and families. And then the last project is a wraparound service and training where they will have contractual services focused on mental health providers to offer school-based mental health services, as well as have hourly wage or pay hourly wages for its CPSS staff to design and coordinate these wraparound services. Again, Howard County is requesting the full $25,000 allocation. Any questions on Howard County's application? Yes, Laura.
Hi, so it's not so much as a question, but just wanted to, particularly for item number 3, I just want to make sure that that the LEA is collaborating with the local behavioral health authority around resources and an awareness campaign. Very often, I know for a fact actually that Howard County does maintain a provider list of resources for the county. And so I don't want them to duplicate the work. It's not even so much about the funding, but just really making sure that in the behavioral health space, the LEAs are closely collaborating with the local behavioral health authorities so that they are not doubling their work and potentially missing out on resources that are available.
Okay, well noted. And yeah, we will definitely pass it on to the school system. Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Okay, moving on, Kent County Public Schools, they're requesting $24,702 on various projects. The first is to help address concerns related to school safety, particularly students as they walk to and from school. They stated that currently many students walk to school in the early morning hours and return home after extracurricular activities. And obviously, because of the time change, it's usually dark when they're coming in the morning and during nighttime. And so the request is to partner with the Chestertown Police Department to provide walk-in escorts for students. They also would like to purchase reflective book bags with reflective tape. They would like to purchase traffic safety signs placed throughout the community where students frequently walk. They would like to acquire grip and go channelizers to help guide vehicles and pedestrians safely around school areas. They would like to purchase promotional safety items and giveaways for students as a reminder to practice safe walking habits. And finally, they would like to conduct presentations for students crossing the street properly. And just for context, on the request to purchase reflective book bags with reflective tapes, we did go back to the school system to clarify if they were looking to buy just tapes, the reflective tapes for students, to put or place on their book bags, or if they were looking to specifically purchase book bags. And the response we got was that they are looking to specifically purchase these types of book bags for the students. They said there's about 150 students who need them, and each bag will cost approximately $48. Any questions on Kent County's request? Hi, Laura. Yes.
Me again, sorry. So I get that I actually had that same book bag question, that backpack question. It seems like if you just purchase tape, that could definitely go further as far as funds. So whatever their reason for feeling like maybe the youth also need the backpacks. I think also just the walking partners, questions that I had about that is like, what training do they have? Who are they? Is it similar to like crossing guard training? I would want to make sure that those kind of walking guides have some training. I'm assuming they'd also like have the same type of background checks and things that anyone interacting with student in a school system would have. So again, it wasn't necessarily that I'm not saying it's a bad idea at all. I'd never heard of a walking partner before. So I just wanted to have a little bit more information on that.
So we're happy to take this back, but I believe in the application, as far as the walking partner, they said they were partnering with the Chestertown Police Department. So it's police officers who will be serving as escorts for the students. So, but if you need further clarification, yes, we can absolutely go back to the school system. And just to be clear, for those two things that you mentioned, is it your request that those particular line items be withheld from consideration until the response, or would you like that it is reviewed and approved with the rest of the packet, and then the additional information is provided after the fact?
Yeah, I think probably the latter. I certainly don't want to hold things up. I do also, though, think about sustainability in my working world. That comes up a lot, and also being kind of fiscally responsible. And certainly the police department, the amount that you're going to pay an officer is pretty significant. So also just, thinking about, are there enough police officers to provide this service? And is there any other kind of evidence or any other model that is used? Because, it's going to be dark all the time at some point in the school year. And I'm assuming this is something that they're going to want long term. So just thinking about how to continue to fiscally support this type of intervention. Police officer hourly rates are pretty steep. So are there volunteers, or again, kind of like a crossing guard type position that can also be utilized? Not saying it should be held up, but I certainly would recommend providing that feedback.
Thank you. We will take that back. And just a comment that I want to make as well is that the estimated hourly rate for the police officers who will be providing the walk-in escort for the students, as far as Kent County's rate, it's $48 per hour. When you compare that to some of the jurisdictions, particularly, with SRO grant applications that we've seen, you are normally in the $80 to $90 per hour range. It is also important to note that Kent County, of course, because of the location, the number of schools, some of these challenges are unique to them compared to other jurisdictions. And having administered the grant really since its inception, we encourage jurisdictions to come up with useful propositions for their Safe Schools Fund grant, particularly since they went from $10.6 million to $25,000 per jurisdiction. And Kent County has been one of those jurisdictions who have very specific use cases for their allocation. So we will take your concerns and your comments to them, particularly as it relates to probably having volunteers provide this service, but of course, sustainability, if they do use the police department, what the plan is for future years. So I will take that, absolutely. I'll take that back to them.
Yeah, thank you. And again, I think a crossing guard makes like $18 an hour. So that's what I'm thinking about. And of course, the function of this is not nearly the same as an SO, as an SRO officer. So I just know that statewide budgets are being cut. And so I just want to be sure that we are thinking of alternatives that can also fill this need.
Well noted. Thank you. All right, let's see. So the next request is from Montgomery County Public Schools. They are requesting to use their 26 allocation to strengthen the district's capacity to prevent and respond to emergencies by supporting de-escalation training through the Crisis Prevention Institute and management of aggressive behavior training. The training program is itemized. The CPI certification train the trainer model. They will have 2 staff members participate. The CPI recertification training, they will have 1 staff member take part in that training. And then the last training for management of aggressive behavior will be another train the trainer model, and they will have up to 5 staff members certified in that training. The request is for the full $25,000 allocation. The next application is from St. Mary's County Public Schools. They're requesting to use their 26 allocation for 4 different projects. First one is to provide online professional development training to behavioral health staff in neurobiology to gain additional education and skills to support student mental and behavioral health. And they're also looking to purchase behavioral health providers counseling instruction materials to support direct student mental health intervention. They're looking to contract a keynote speaker for the annual mental and behavioral health fair, which brings together community agencies and supports mental and behavioral health with students, families, and staff. And finally, they're looking to purchase materials for the annual mental health fair to distribute to students and families. Again, St. Mary's County's request is $25,000. Any questions on that? Hi, Laura.
Hi, this is my last question. I promise. Can you tell that we've had a lot of cuts at BHA, MDH this last fiscal year? So the only thing I would call out there is for their annual conference, they have an honorarium of $10,000 for the keynote speaker. And so I think a lot of the other things they're doing, like the materials and all of that, is really, really great. And I'm just wondering what keynote they are getting that is requiring a $10,000 honorarium. And again, I'm not saying I wouldn't push this through, but you know, if you think about half of that going actually to students and families with that information, that can have a very big impact. And so a one-time keynote, I'm just wondering if that's the best way to spend the funds. So just putting it out there.
Okay. Are you looking for anything specifically in terms of whether they have put out any solicitations for this keynote speaker? And if they have, would you like a copy of that?
I mean, I'm not saying I need a copy of it, but I do think, yes, is it a solicitation, or do they have someone that they're asking and, or that they have in mind? And if so, what is the reason for that? You know, why is it that particular person? Generally, the keynote doesn't even attend the whole day, right? So depending on the situation. So as you can tell, if you want to save money, just give me a call. But that's how I'm thinking about it. Again, I'd much rather see that money go out to students and families than be given to someone. And just am wondering what the value of a $10,000 speaker is. This is not like for research or data or anything like that. It's so just my 2 cents.
Well,
I actually, if I could just
Yes.
provide a comment on that too. First of all, I agree with Laura. I'm glad you flagged it. It strikes me as a little too far away when it comes to the purpose of the funds. I mean, these are public funds. All these respective jurisdictions are employing them in ways that it appears directly impacts school safety. And I realize at some point, there's things get sort of tangentially related to the fundamental purpose, but this seems really kind of gratuitous. I mean, it's just $10,000 for someone to come and speak for 30 minutes or whatever. These are public funds, and it just strikes me as not particularly appropriate. I'm not saying it wouldn't be effective. Perhaps it would be, depending on who it is and all that. But I do think it's an awful lot of money for something of this sort, given the fact that these are grant funds, these are public funds. So that's all. That's my 2 cents.
yeah, no, thank you. That's well noted. So again, I will ask the subcabinet, would you like to, for consideration when we get to the end, to review St. Mary's application, or less than $10,000, which means that the request would only be for $15,000 if that's what ends up being approved? Or would it be to consider the full application as is, and grant a contingent approval once the information for the $10,000 is received? So I will put that out there for consideration.
Let me just, one thought that comes to mind, though, as far as who the speaker is, things like that, I'm not sure we really want to get into that, because that gets into a much more subjective area where someone may say that's a good idea and someone may say that's not really a good idea. So I mean, it's more, I just want to clarify that from my perspective, it kind of doesn't matter who it is. It's or what they're going to say, in as much as I'm not really sure that this is an appropriate allocation or use of these kinds of funds under the circumstances, of what other alternatives might exist. If you all understand what I'm trying to say. Okay, thank you.
I'm just going to say, when we complete all of this, I am going to go back to each of the ones that Laura brought up and give everyone an opportunity, and including Laura and Carl. Laura just said she agreed with your point. We'll go back and revisit as to whether you want to move forward, pull it out. So you have time to think about it after we see all of them.
Okay, good. So for the record, I have pulled aside Kent County and St. Mary's County application from the ones that we have reviewed so far, so that we can grant them the individual approval based on what the subcabinet decides in the end. Okay, so moving on, the next request is from Talbot County Public Schools. They are requesting to use their Safe Schools Fund grant allocation to purchase and update the automated external defibrillators at 4 of its schools, as well as purchase and update the accessories and supplies needed. And the breakdown for the AAD purchases and all of the accessories are provided. The total request is $24,999, which is essentially the $25,000. Any questions on this one? All right, and the next request is from Washington County Public Schools. They are requesting to use their $25,000 allocation across 3 interconnected categories, which includes professional development, community engagement and wraparound services, and direct mental health resources. We have itemized the 3 different categories on the overview document that is provided. So the first one is the professional development piece. The funding will be used for additional pay for behavior support staff for participating in professional development training. They will also contract speakers for professional development for external experts to provide training to staff on topics such as de-escalation skills, behavioral health strategies, and social emotional learning interventions. They also have the registration costs for school administrators to attend in-state or virtual conferences, as well as costs for teachers and staff to attend training on social emotional learning and interventions. They're also looking to use part of their funding for community engagement and wraparound services, which includes contracted therapy for substance abuse, as well as community transport program that they've had for a few years now to provide transportation for students to access necessary community mental health appointments to remove critical access barriers. And the last one is direct mental health resources and materials. They're looking to purchase therapeutic materials, supplies, new curricula, and intervention materials to support effective evidence-based services, as well as purchase other supplies and materials needed to host the annual mental health fair that they do every year. The total request again is $25,000. Any questions on this one? All right, the last but one application is from Wycomico County. They are requesting the full $25,000 on 5 different projects. First one is to purchase 6 multi-unit chargers, the charging stations, I should say. These charging stations can charge up to 6 radios at a time. They would also like to purchase 50 Motorola portable radio batteries. They would like to purchase 1 Motorola radio to enhance communication and improve safety within schools. They would like to purchase 5 handheld metal detectors. And finally, they'd like to purchase signage for physical security of the county school sites. Any questions on Wycomico County's application? And the last application is from Worcester County. They are requesting to use the allocation for 2 main objectives that tie directly to its Restart program at the Worcester Technical High School, which serves students demonstrating Tier 3 behaviors who have not been successful with Tier 1 and Tier 2 interventions at their home schools. So the funds will be used to strengthen school personnel's capacity to de-escalate situations and respond to behaviors of concern, which includes training and coaching for the Restart staff, and also training on de-escalation for school and central office administration. The second request is to deliver enhanced school-based behavioral health and wraparound services for students in the Restart program, which includes music therapy group sessions. This will provide 45-minute group therapy sessions for Restart program students during the 2025-2026 school year. And with that, we come to the end of all of the applications. Any questions on the Worcester County application?
All right. Thank you, Gifty, for that thorough review, and I appreciate going through each one of them succinctly so we know what we're taking a look at. There were questions on 3 of the applications. That was Howard, Kent, and St. Mary's. We can vote on 16 of them and approve them, and then we can take a look at each of Howard, Kent, and St. Mary's separately and just quickly. So do I have a motion to approve 16 of the applications, not including right now, doesn't mean we won't approve them, but approving all but Howard, Kent, and St. Mary's? I'm looking for a motion to approve.
Mary, I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Carol. And a second?
I second.
Laura. All in favor? Is there a discussion? Sorry, trying to keep my, all in favor, say aye. Raise your hand.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? The motion passes. So we have approved 16 of the applications. So now let's take them one at a time. Thank you for taking a look at the 16. First, there were questions about Howard County. And I think the question in particular was about their creating an app with resources to put some funding towards that. I don't have it in front of me. I think it was maybe 3,500-ish.
Right.
Thanks.
It was the 3rd project, yes, for 3,500.
Thank you. And the question was, is there collaboration with the local behavioral health authority? Is there let's take a motion. Is there a motion to approve this application?
Motion to approve.
Is there who was that? I'm sorry.
Arabia Davis.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I second.
Thank you, Laura. So now it's time for discussion. Is there a discussion regarding this application? Do we want to move the application forward with Gifty going to Howard County and raising the question of making sure that there's collaboration with the local behavioral health authority? That's one option. Second option is to not approve that piece. And a third option is to not approve the whole application at this time. Any discussion to that effect? Any thoughts?
So I'm perfectly, I'm fine with moving it forward. Like, I don't have any objection to it. I just wanted to make sure that we're ensuring that all of the resources that exist within the state are being utilized, because it, you know, it's such challenging work, and that there isn't any duplication of work being done. So as long as that conversation happens, I don't have an objection to moving it forward. I think the more resources we can give, the better in regards to behavioral health.
Okay, great. Thank you, Laura. Any other comments? So we do have a motion and a second to move that application forward. If there's no more discussion, and we did hear from Laura, who brought up the issue, all in favor, say aye. Raise your hand.
Aye.
I saw two, heard from a third. Want to make sure that we have, okay, so it looked like maybe three in
And
favor.
Carl,
I'm sorry,
I think Carl is raising his hand.
Carl, and he wasn't before. Okay, thanks, Carl. Any opposition? Any abstentions? Thank you. Then the motion passes to approve Howard County's, with understanding, Gifty, that you'll provide the information to Howard County that Laura brought up. Second one is Kent. There was a question. There are some students that, given the location, I think there were two questions. One is their plan to purchase 150 reflective backpacks. The other question was, rather than the backpack, what about getting, for the students who have those backpacks, a strip that would be put on them that would be reflective? And the second question was the I forget what it was, walking partners. And should that be a crossing guard? Should that come from the Kent County Police Department, or crossing guards at I think it was $48 an hour. And question came up about crossing guards being less expensive. I think, Laura, you also brought up about making sure they have background checks and so on. If they are using the police department, I'm sure that those background checks go along with their responsibility. So we can do it the same way. So right now, I guess, even before we do a vote, no, I think we can do a vote. I mean, a motion, and then we can have discussion. So is there a motion to approve Kent County's application?
So I would move to approve it with the piece that they explore for future years other options for walkers, whatever they're called, protective walkers. I forget.
Walking partners. I wrote it down.
Walking partners.
The one
Walking
thing that-
partners. And again, I just think it would be good for them, even if nothing pans out, to say these are some of the options that we looked into during the year, and this is still the best thing. I just want to ensure, again, that we're being fiscally responsible.
Absolutely.
And the other thing that I want to note is that not everyone has a good response to law enforcement. So there may be youth that are not particularly comfortable around law enforcement. They tend to have weapons. They tend to be male. And I don't know if they're reflective of the community. So, you know, as far as racially and ethnically. And so that's the other thing. Like, honestly, I know many kids who would be like, I will rather walk in the dark in the middle of the street by myself than walk to school with a police officer. So it's not even about like that fiscal responsibility. It's also about, is that the best choice for students to be kind of escorted to school by a police officer? So just thinking about it from that other perspective. So I guess I'll just say that's where I'm at for this year. I don't want to hold it up because I don't want kids walking home to and from school in the dark. But I'd be interested to hear if other people have other thoughts about it.
I just want to say, in making a motion, the motion can be made and then discussion, and then the vote can be to not approve it. Or approve it with, but I think Laura has brought up her points of concern. Is there any other discussion, any other concern?
Before we do that, I just want to be clear about what Ms. Torres's motion is, and then we have to have a second before we move to the discussion. So is your motion to approve Kent County's application with the provision that they explore future options for walking partners?
Yes.
Okay. Then the next step would be to have a second.
Second.
Thank you, Arabia. Any discussion? Okay, so Janine, help, or Laura, help. There is a motion to approve the Kent County application with an expectation that they explore other options. Is it exactly, Janine, how did you say that? Explore other options?
A suggestion to explore future options for walking partners.
Suggestion to explore future options for walking partners. That's the motion. It's been seconded. There's no further discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Any abstentions? Okay,
So,
then, I'm sorry.
I think what we did the last time at this, I think I only saw two in favor. I think it was Miss Beatty and Miss Davis. Did I see Miss Torres also? So that's three. There was three. Okay.
So I'm sorry. So I approved it. I didn't abstain. Is that what you were asking?
No, I just wanted to make sure I was having an accurate count of all those in favor, just to make sure that we have the majority. Okay, wait, Carl is in too. So
I am in as well. Yes.
all right. So we have 4 in favor. There was no oppositions. So the motion carries. Thank you.
Thanks, Janine. I appreciate it. Thank you, Laura. And so the third one is St. Mary's, and that was the question about $10,000 for the keynote, and obviously discussion about the $10,000, whether it's for the keynote, the stipend, whether there's travel that's part of that. We don't know that information, but the identification of $10,000. Both Laura and Carl had questions, and Gifty.
Yes, I'm sorry. For Kent County, I thought there were 2 comments. The first one that we went through, but also the book bags. Should there be a motion to approve that request as presented, or was there a request for additional information?
So if we are going to add that suggestion, we'd have to move to amend the motion, and then we'd have to have a second to amend the motion. Then we'd have to vote on the motion to amend. Then we have to amend the motion, have a second, and then another vote.
So is there a motion to amend?
I move to amend.
Is there a second?
A second.
Is there any so this motion is to amend, this is just to amend, right, Janine?
So this is the motion, this is a motion to amend the motion to approve Kent County's application with the suggestion to explore future options for walking partners. So this is just the motion to amend.
Okay.
So it's been moved by Ms. Torres, motion to amend by Ms. Torres. It's been seconded by Ms. Davis.
Right. Any discussion? All in favor to amend the motion as Janine described? Indicate. Arabia, Carl, Laura, Carol. Okay, so you have a motion, and that has been voted upon. Any opposed? I'm sorry. Any abstention? All right, so now is there a motion on how you want to amend it? And that would be something related to the reflective tape.
Yeah, so I'm not sure about that one. I think that was Ms. Torres' suggestion. So you'll have to make the motion with that suggestion. So this is going to be two-part, right? So one suggestion related to the future options for the walking partners, and then a second suggestion related to either the tape or the book bags. I'm not sure.
So I wasn't actually suggesting that the backpack shouldn't be approved. Again, just putting it out there for fiscal purposes. It like maybe the youth do need the backpacks. I'm not sure, but I just wasn't clear why the tape wasn't an option. I don't want to make a big deal out of it. I'm certainly in support of kids getting backpacks. And it's not a huge expense. So I'm okay with that piece.
I think some of the concern might be then you're putting tape on the student's backpack, which is their personal backpack. If you give them a backpack, I mean, that might be their thinking, but I can't speak for them. But I don't know. So Laura, you're saying you wanted to call attention to it, but not make it part of the motion. Is that what I'm hearing, Laura? Thank you.
Okay,
What do we do now, Janine?
but at this point, we moved to amend that motion, so we don't have a motion to approve. So we'd have to do a motion to. Okay, just so that I am clear and I understand. We did a motion to amend the motion to approve the Kent County's application. That motion passed. So now the motion to approve Kent County's with the suggestion is where we are, because we're to amend that. So I believe if there is not a motion to approve the Kent County's application with the suggestion to explore future options for walking partners, I believe that motion would stand if we are not moving to amend it. I mean, if we're not amending it.
On my end, I don't feel like it needs to be amended.
Do you need a motion, Janine, to not amend now? Is that what you're saying?
I believe, and I'm not, I believe that we made a motion to amend the motion to approve. But at this point, we are not amending that motion. So I believe that motion still stands since we're not amending it. So I do not believe we need to have a motion to withdraw the motion to amend. I think we're fine.
Okay. We'll do what you tell us. Thank you.
It's a little confusing. Sorry about that. I
Thanks,
just had to
Laura.
think it through.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you, Janine. Thank you, Laura. So we are good now with Kent, and we can move to St. Mary's. St. Mary's is, I think, not, yes. The St. Mary's is the concern about $10,000 for the keynote. And is there any conversation or a recommendation for a motion related to the $10,000 use of $10,000 for the keynote for St. Mary's County?
I'll put a motion up, and that is to approve the application with the exception of the funding for the keynote speaker. So to deduct the $10,000, but to move forward with the remainder of the projects being requested.
Thank you. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
That was Carol, right?
Mhm.
Carol, thank
Yes.
you. Okay, any discussion? Carol?
Yeah, I know I seconded this, but I do have a question. Will the school system be able to come back with an additional request for the $10,000?
Yes, so they will have the opportunity to come up with a different project for the $10,000. And we would have to submit that to the subcabinet for approval at your next meeting.
So what you're saying, Gifty and Carol, is that the motion could be to approve everything with the exception of the $10,000. So it'd be taking $10,000 off their application, and move that forward, and they could come back either with the same thing, perhaps, and more information, or they could come back with something different. That would be up to them, but it would have to come to the subcabinet.
That's correct.
Great. All right. Thank you. Any further discussion? Janine?
I just want to make sure that we are clear on what we're voting for. So the vote is a motion to approve St. Mary's County's application minus the $10,000 for the keynote speaker.
Correct.
Okay.
Any discussion? All those in favor of approving the motion that Arabia said and Janine said, which is approve the application minus the $10,000 for the speaker. All those in favor of that motion, say aye. Carl is a yes. Arabia, Carol, Laura, and Carl. So that motion passes. So Kent County application is approved with the exception of the $10,000, and Gifty can explain that they can come back at a later time next month with that. So I think with that, that we have addressed all 19 of the applications. Thank you very much for your thought, for Gifty, for putting it all together and explaining it so clearly. Thank you. And for the discussion and the questions and the thoughtful application of our approval. and recommendations to the local school systems. So I think that at this point, we have accomplished everything that was on the agenda. I appreciate that. Thank you, Kim, for your review. The meeting dates are before you. The next meeting will be February 9th. It will be virtual. And you can see virtual, in person, and virtual. You can see the dates. So do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting today?
Motion to adjourn the meeting today.
Thank you, Arabia. And do I have a second?
Second.
Carl seconds the motion. All in favor? Opposed or abstained? I think we are good. Thank you for your conversation and thoughtful application and review of the applications. I think it's important. I know it takes time. And thank you, Kim, for going through the report, because it certainly reflects the incredible work of the Maryland Center for School Safety. So thank you all. Have a great day and a very happy Thanksgiving, and we will see you at our next meeting. Take care, everyone. Thank you, Janine.
Thank you.
Thanks. And Gifty and Kim. Thank you all.
Thank you. Good job.
Thanks. Bye.
Take care all.
Thanks.